David Carter stepped into the lobby of a small branch of Carter Bank, the institution he had co-founded years ago. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows on the polished tile floor. The automatic door slid open with a soft ding as he entered. Though he had played a key role in building the bank, today, he was just another customer, looking to withdraw a modest amount from his personal account. David walked up to the teller counter, where a young woman named Emily Carter glanced at him before quickly focusing back on her computer screen. He spoke politely. "Good afternoon. I'd like to make a withdrawal." Emily didn't look up, merely sliding a withdrawal slip toward him. "Please fill this out." David quickly completed the form, noting a withdrawal request for $5,000. As he handed it back, he noticed a flicker of hesitation in Emily's eyes. She scrutinized the form and then glanced at his ID. Suddenly, her voice wavered slightly. "Please wait here for a moment." She picked up his ID and hurried toward the back office. David stood waiting, lightly tapping his fingers on the counter. A few minutes later, she returned with Michael Thompson, the branch manager. "Mr. Carter, good to see you." Michael's smile was forced. "We need to verify some information." David frowned. "You have my ID and account details. What else do you need to verify?" Michael tilted the ID under the light, as if checking for counterfeits. "What line of business are you in?" "I'm an entrepreneur." "Do you have a business account with us?" "Is this withdrawal for personal or business use?" David felt the unnecessary suspicion. His voice turned cold. "It's a personal account. What's going on here?" Michael exchanged glances with Emily before replying flatly. "We need further verification before we can process this transaction." David sensed that this was no routine check. It was deliberate. He pulled out his phone and activated the voice recorder, preparing for any unexpected developments. At that moment, a security guard stepped up behind him. His instincts flared. Staying composed, he asked firmly, "What exactly is happening here?" Michael didn't answer immediately. Instead, he signaled to Emily, who produced a folder and slid it toward David. Inside was a bank statement, but what stood out were a series of massive transactions he had never authorized. "Your account has shown unusual activity over the past week." Michael spoke slowly. "The bank has the right to temporarily freeze funds while verifying their source." David scanned the statement, his expression hardening. Large sums had been withdrawn at times when he hadn't even logged in. "These aren't my transactions." His tone was firm. "Then can you explain where this money is coming from?" Michael's voice sharpened. Without hesitation, David called his financial assistant, instructing her to check the bank system immediately. But before she could answer, two more security guards moved in closer. "Mr. Carter, we need you to cooperate." One of them spoke. Tension thickened. David knew something bigger was at play. He needed to uncover the truth before things escalated further. Just then, his phone vibrated. His assistant's voice came through, urgent and alarmed. "David, the bank system has been compromised. Someone has been making fraudulent transactions in your name. I just found an outgoing wire transfer about to be processed for a massive amount." David raised his phone for Michael to hear. "Can you explain how such a critical security breach happened under your watch?" Michael's face darkened. Emily paled behind him. David looked around, realizing that the security guards weren't just protecting the bank, they were covering something up. Suddenly, a group of police officers entered the bank. A lead investigator spoke with authority. "We've received reports of financial fraud at this branch. All employees are required to cooperate with the investigation." Michael stepped back, but it was too late. Two officers closed in and handcuffed him. Emily collapsed into her chair, covering her face. A nearby bank employee muttered, "It's finally over." David exhaled, relieved. It turned out that a group of corrupt employees had been exploiting the system, siphoning money from high-value accounts and laundering the funds. When they saw him, the co-founder, making a withdrawal, they panicked and tried to stall him. The case was quickly unraveled. Those responsible were arrested, and the bank underwent a full security overhaul. A week later, David returned, this time as the rightful owner. He observed the new employees working diligently, the atmosphere more transparent and professional. Michael and his accomplices were gone, but the lesson about trust and financial oversight would stay with him forever. He smiled and stepped up to the counter. "Good morning. I'd like to make a withdrawal." The new teller, a young man named Robert, greeted him with a genuine smile. "Of course, sir. May I see your ID?" David handed over his credentials, feeling the difference. No hesitation, no unnecessary suspicion, just professionalism. As Robert processed his request, David glanced at the large screen displaying the bank's updated security measures, a testament to the changes he had ensured. As he stepped out into the bright afternoon, he felt a renewed sense of trust. The storm had passed, but he would never forget how close he had come to losing everything.